The epics of humanity, from Eve to the curse, from Daniel to the Messiah, why 2021, 2029, and 3035 matter. Human history follows a prophetic design based on the Torah and writings of the prophets. According to the Book of Jubilees, humanity's time began when Eve was formed from Adam. 7 years later, Adam and Eve sinned and were exiled from Eden. That exile in 3972 BC began a 6,000-year curse of labor, death, and separation from the Creator. This report explores the formation of Eve in 3979 BC, the sin and curse beginning in 3972 BC, the 6,000-year curse ending in 2029 AD, Daniel's 1290 and 1335-year prophecy pointing to 2021 AD, the Messiah's ministry beginning in 29 AD, 3 prophetic epics of 2004 years, the seventh-day millennial age ending in 3035 AD, completing 7,000 years. Key foundation dates. Eve was formed in 3979 BC, 7 years before the sin and exile. Adam and Eve sinned in 3972 BC, this begins the 6,000-year curse. 6,000 years from 3979 BC brings us to 2021 AD, the end of the human formation count. 6,000 years from 3972 BC brings us to 2029 AD, the end of the curse itself. The Messiah began his ministry in 29 AD, marking the start of the third prophetic epic. Epics of 2004 years each. History is divided into 3 prophetic epics of 2004 years each, beginning with Eve in 3979 BC. The number 2004 is based on a pattern of human history leading to major prophetic events. Epic 1, 3979 BC to 1975 BC, 2004 years. Epic 2, 1975 BC to 29 AD, 2004 years. Epic 3, 29 AD to 2033 AD, 2004 years. Each epic ends with a turning point. Epic 1 ends with the calling of Abram. Epic 2 ends with the anointing of the Messiah at age 30. Epic 3 ends in 2033 AD, leading into the age of rest. The Book of Jubilees and Abram at age 50. In the Book of Jubilees, God first speaks to Abram when he is 50 years old. In Jubilees 12, Abram begins questioning the idols of his father and the nations. He prays to the Creator and receives revelation. This moment marks the beginning of the covenant relationship between YHWH and Abram. Quote from Jubilees 12:16-25. And in the 6th week, in the 5th year thereof, Abram sat up throughout the night on the new moon of the 7th month to observe the stars. At that time, YHWH speaks to Abram and tells him to leave Ur of the Chaldees and go to the land of Canaan. Abram would have been 50 years old in 1975 BC. That is exactly 2004 years before 29 AD, the year the Messiah began his ministry. The Messiah in the year 29 AD. According to Luke 3:23, the Messiah was about 30 years old when he began his public ministry. This fulfills the Torah command that a priest must be at least 30 to begin service. Numbers 4:3. 29 AD ends the second epic and begins the third. 2021 AD, 6,000 years from Eve, and Daniel's 1335-year prophecy. From 3979 BC, Eve's formation, to 2021 AD is 6,000 years. This is not the end of the curse, but it marks a major prophetic moment. In Daniel 12:11-12, the angel says, "From the time the daily is taken away and the abomination that causes desolation is set up, there shall be 1290 days. Blessed is he who waits and reaches the 1335 days." This is understood as symbolic years. In 605 BC, the Babylonians took away the daily offerings. Daniel 1, 2 Kings 24. 605 BC plus 1290 years equals 686 AD, the year the Dome of the Rock was completed on the Temple Mount. 686 AD plus 1335 years equals 2021 AD. So 2021 marks 6,000 years from Eve's formation. The fulfillment of Daniel's 1335-year blessing. A time of awakening and prophetic blessing. But the curse itself does not end until 6,000 years after the sin, which occurred in 3972 BC. 2029 AD, the end of the 6,000-year curse. The curse of Genesis 3 began in 3972 BC. It ends after 6,000 years of toil and death. 3972 BC plus 6,000 years equals 2029 AD. That is the true end of the curse. From that point on, we enter the prophetic seventh day, the age of rest and restoration. 3035 AD, the end of the seventh day, 7,000 years complete. From Eve's formation in 3979 BC to 3035 AD is 7,000 years. That is the full prophetic week of human history. Days 1 to 6, 6,000 years of human labor and judgment. Day 7, 1,000 years of rest, healing, and divine rule. End of day 7 equals 3035 AD, the completion of all things, the end of the prophetic week. Timeline summary. 3979 BC, Eve formed. 3972 BC, sin and curse begin. 1975 BC, God speaks to Abram, age 50, epic 1 ends. 29 AD, Messiah begins ministry, epic 2 ends. 2021 AD, 6,000 years from Eve, Daniel's 1335-year prophecy fulfilled. 2029 AD, 6,000 years from the curse, prophetic end of the curse. 2033 AD, end of epic 3. 3035 AD, end of 7,000 years, completion of prophetic week. Conclusion. We are now living between 2021 and 2029, a critical prophetic window. The curse has not yet ended, but its conclusion is near. The pattern of the Torah, the vision of the prophets, and the ministry of the Messiah all point toward this generation. History is not random, it is measured, patterned, and declared from the beginning. The time of restoration is near. Deuteronomy 30:3. Then Yhwh your Elohim will turn your captivity, and have compassion upon you, and will return and gather you from all the nations.